As the first rays of dawn lit up the Nevada desert, the skies darkened with the silhouettes of alien spacecraft. General Thrax, overseeing the invasion from the lead ship, watched Earth grow larger in view, anticipation coursing through his veins. "Prepare for touchdown. Secure the perimeter upon landing," Thrax commanded, his voice echoing through the intercom. The crew members, encased in their sleek, armor-like suits, responded with a unified nod. On Earth, John Harris, a rugged former Marine, peered through his binoculars from a hilltop. Beside him, his younger brother, Alex, fidgeted with a radio scanner, trying to intercept any alien communications. "John, do you think they've seen us?" Alex whispered, his gaze fixed on the descending ships. "Not yet, but they will." "Keep your head down and stay quiet," John replied, adjusting his rifle. "We need to understand their movements before we make ours." In the shadow of a large boulder, their friend, Sam, a mechanic and pilot, tinkered with a makeshift drone. "This baby might just give us the eyes we need inside their camp," Sam said, his hands steady despite the rising tension. "Good. We'll need all the intel we can get. I want to know their weak points," John said, turning to look at Sam. As the alien ships touched down, stirring clouds of dust and sand, Thrax stood at the forefront. He turned to his second-in-command, Commander Vrix. "Deploy the scouts. I want a full report on the local terrain and any signs of human activity." "Yes, General," Vrix replied, before barking orders into his communicator. John, Alex, and Sam watched as small groups of alien scouts dispersed from the main camp. "Time to move," John said. "Sam, send the drone in when we're in position. Alex, you're with me. We're going to get a closer look." The trio stealthily made their way closer to the alien base, using the undulating dunes as cover. Sam launched the drone, its cameras feeding live images back to his tablet. Through the drone's camera, they spotted an isolated group of alien scouts. "There's our entry point," John pointed out. "We take them out quietly, grab any tech we can, and pull back before they know what hit them." Alex nodded, checking his weapon. "Ready when you are." The brothers crept closer, their movements synchronized. With swift precision, they ambushed the scouts, quickly neutralizing them with minimal noise. Sam monitored the situation through the drone, guiding them with real-time updates. "Area's clear, but you've got more heading your way. Time to pull out," Sam's voice crackled over their earpieces. John and Alex gathered up the alien weapons and a strange-looking device. "This could be useful," John muttered, slinging the device over his shoulder. Back at their makeshift camp, the group examined their spoils. "Looks like some sort of communication gear," Sam noted, turning the device over in his hands. "Give me a few hours. I might get it to talk to us." "We don't have a few hours," John said, scanning the horizon. "They'll come looking for these scouts. We need to be ready to move." Alex set up defensive perimeters around their camp while Sam worked feverishly on the alien device. Hours passed, and the tension mounted. Suddenly, the device lit up, emitting a series of chirps and whistles. "I think I've got something," Sam exclaimed. "It's a map. Looks like it's showing their patrols and key installations." John leaned over to study the map. "This is it. We use this to hit them where it hurts. We may be outgunned, but we're not outsmarted." The group plotted their next moves, using the stolen intel to plan a series of hit-and-run attacks aimed at disrupting the alien operations. As night fell, the desert quieted, but the resolve of John, Alex, and Sam only strengthened. They were ready to fight back, to protect their home against the invaders. In the darkness, they prepared for the coming battle, knowing that the element of surprise was on their side. "We'll make them regret choosing our planet," John said, his voice low but firm. "This is our home, our fight." With the stolen alien map as their guide, they set out under the cover of night, ready to turn the tide in a war they had not chosen but were determined to win. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and they were at the heart of the resistance. In the dusty expanse of the Nevada desert, John Harris and his team hunkered down behind a rocky outcrop, surveying the alien encampment that sprawled in the valley below. The alien force, unaware of their presence, continued their operations as the first rays of dawn stretched across the sand. "Look at the size of that encampment," Alex murmured, adjusting the focus on his binoculars. "They're setting up fast. We've got to move quickly." Sam, still tinkering with the alien communication device they had captured, nodded in agreement. "This map shows a smaller outpost to the east. Less guarded, but should have valuable intel. We hit that next." John loaded his rifle, his eyes never leaving the alien base. "We'll split up. Sam, you and Alex take the outpost. I'll create a diversion here. Once you've got what we need, use the explosives to cover your exit. The team split, with John moving closer to the main camp to set up his distraction. As he positioned himself, he spotted a lone alien scout separated from the main group. Seizing the opportunity, John stealthily approached, taking the scout down with a swift, silent takedown. Meanwhile, Sam and Alex approached the smaller outpost. Using the alien device to bypass security, they slipped inside undetected. "Look for anything, documents, tech, anything we can use," Sam whispered as they infiltrated deeper into the outpost. Back at the main camp, John used the captured scout's weapon to sabotage several of their land vehicles, setting off a series of small explosions. As alarms blared and chaos ensued, he slipped away, heading towards the rendezvous point. Sam and Alex, deep inside the outpost, found a trove of tactical data. "This could tell us their next move," Alex said, downloading data onto a portable drive. Just then, an alien patrol stumbled upon the scene. Reacting quickly, the brothers engaged in a brief firefight, managing to escape with minor injuries. "We've got the intel," Alex radioed to John as they dashed across the desert landscape, the outpost's explosions lighting up the night sky behind them. At the rendezvous point, the brothers reunited with John, sharing the data they had retrieved. "This shows their planned expansions and weaknesses in their supply lines," Sam said, examining the files. "We can use this to our advantage." John nodded, assessing their next move. "We need to keep the pressure on them, keep them off balance while we figure out how to deal with their main force." As they strategized, a static-filled message came through on the radio, a voice barely audible over the crackling. "This is Resistance Group Delta. We're pinned down at Sector 5. Need assistance." John grabbed the radio. "Delta, this is Harris. We're on our way." Turning to his team, he said, "We've got fellow humans out there fighting. They need our help." The trio quickly packed up their gear and set off toward Sector 5. As they approached, they could see smoke rising and hear the distant sound of gunfire. "We go in quiet, get them out, and regroup," John instructed as they neared the conflict zone. They moved through the terrain with practiced ease, reaching the embattled resistance fighters who were hunkered down behind a crumbling wall, heavily outnumbered by alien forces. "Follow us if you want to live," John called out to them, laying down cover fire as Alex and Sam pulled the beleaguered fighters to safety. Once clear, the rescued fighters, weary but grateful, introduced themselves. "I'm Captain Lisa Roberts," one said, shaking John's hand. "Thanks for the save. We weren't sure anyone would come." "Nobody gets left behind," John replied firmly. "Now let's get you all somewhere safe. We can use all the help we can get." As they trekked back to their base camp, the newcomers shared their own intelligence and resources, strengthening John's resolve and the group's capabilities. The resistance was growing, each victory and each saved life knitting together a stronger force against the invaders. That night, around a small fire, John looked over his team and the new arrivals. "Today, we helped our own, and we hit the enemy hard. Tomorrow, we plan our next move. We're in this together, and we're going to take back our planet, one fight at a time." Their determination was clear. They were united not just by circumstance, but by a common cause, to reclaim their home from the alien invaders. The early morning sun cast long shadows across the Nevada desert as John Harris and his expanded team prepared for a day of harsh warfare. The terrain was unforgiving, a relentless expanse of sand and rock that seemed to stretch into infinity. But it was their home, and they knew every inch of it, knowledge that gave them a significant tactical advantage. "All right, team, listen up," John began, his voice carrying over the murmurs of the group. "Using the intel we gathered, we've identified several key points in the alien supply chain that are vulnerable to attack. Today, we disrupt their operations and slow them down." Captain Lisa Roberts, the leader of the rescued fighters, stepped forward, her expression stern yet optimistic. "My team is ready. We've rigged enough explosives to make a few good dents. Where do you need us?" John pointed to a series of coordinates on a map spread out on the hood of an old, dust-covered Jeep. "Here, here, and here. These are their main supply routes. Hit them simultaneously. They won't have time to react or reinforce." Lisa nodded, her team immediately gearing up. Meanwhile, Sam pulled John aside. "I've modified some of the drones to act as decoys. They should draw the aliens' attention away from the real attacks." "Perfect," John replied. "Keep those drones moving. The more confused they are, the better for us." As the teams set out to their respective targets, Alex and a small group stayed behind with John, who had planned a more dangerous mission. We're going after their command center. If we can gather data about their overall strategy or even sabotage their communications, we can buy ourselves some critical time. The journey to the alien command center was perilous. The group navigated rocky ravines and steep dunes, always on the lookout for alien scouts. As they neared the site, the alien presence increased, with patrols crisscrossing the area frequently. Using a pair of binoculars, John scouted ahead. "There's the center," he whispered, pointing to a structure heavily guarded and fortified with what looked like advanced weaponry. "This won't be easy." Alex checked his rifle, his face set in a determined frown. "It never is, but we're not exactly looking for easy, are we?" "No, we're not," John agreed, a slight smile breaking through his stoic demeanor. The team waited until nightfall before making their move. Under the cover of darkness, they crept closer, avoiding spotlights and silent alarms. John led them through a narrow, barely visible path he had spotted earlier with the binoculars. They reached the outer perimeter of the command center, and Sam's technical expertise came into play. He quickly hacked into the security system, temporarily disabling the alarms as they slipped inside. The interior was a maze of corridors lined with strange, luminescent panels. The team moved silently, communicating with hand signals. They reached the main communication room, where Alex and another team member began downloading data onto portable drives. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the halls. "We've got company," John hissed, signaling everyone to hide. As alien soldiers entered the room, the team remained motionless, barely breathing. After a tense few minutes, the aliens moved on, seemingly satisfied that the room was secure. Once they were gone, John signaled the all clear, and the team finished their task. "Got it," Alex whispered triumphantly, holding up the drives. "Let's get out of here," John replied, leading the way back out. They retraced their steps, Sam ensuring their digital footprints were erased as they exited the facility. Once they were safely back at their base, the teams reconvened. Lisa and her group had successfully hit all 3 supply routes, causing significant disruption. "We've got them rattled," Lisa reported, a grin of satisfaction on her face. John nodded, looking over the data Alex had retrieved. "And this," he said, holding up the drives, "is the key to their next move. We know where they're going to strike next." As the team gathered around to discuss their next steps, the mood was cautiously optimistic. They had struck a significant blow against the aliens today, using their superior knowledge of the terrain and their guerrilla tactics. But the war was far from over. "We keep hitting them, keep them off balance," John declared. "They thought this planet would be easy to conquer. Let's prove them wrong, again and again." The team cheered, their spirits lifted by the day's successes. They were ready to continue the fight, each victory bringing them closer to reclaiming their home. As they prepared for the battles ahead, they knew the desert wasn't just their battlefield. It was their greatest ally. Under the relentless desert sun, John Harris and his resistance team prepared for the next phase of their campaign against the alien invaders. The recent victories had not only boosted morale, but also attracted attention from other resistance cells scattered across the globe. Today, they planned to coordinate with these new allies to launch a series of synchronized strikes. In their makeshift command center, a repurposed warehouse, John stood before a large digital map, outlining the strategy. "These are the locations of other resistance groups," he said, pointing to various spots on the map. "We've established contact and are ready to coordinate our efforts. If we hit them simultaneously in multiple locations, we can cause maximum disruption." Alex leaned over the table, studying the map intently. "We've got teams ready in Europe, Asia, and South America. They've been hitting the aliens hard, but with less coordination. This could really turn the tide." Sam, ever the tech wizard, was setting up communications equipment to ensure secure lines between all groups. "We've got encrypted channels for each team. No leaks, no breaches," he assured them. Captain Lisa Roberts, who had proven invaluable with her tactical acumen, chimed in. "My team is ready to lead the assault on the Western Front. We'll draw their forces out and keep them engaged while the others strike." John nodded in approval. "Good. We need to keep the pressure on them. Remember, every strike must count. We might not get another chance like this." As the teams prepared to move out, John pulled aside a new face, a young resistance fighter named Derek, who had shown promise. "You'll be with me on the ground today. Watch and learn. This is how we fight back." Derek nodded, a mix of nerves and excitement visible in his eyes. "I won't let you down, sir." The operations kicked off at dusk. In Nevada, John and Derek led a team through the rocky terrain, heading towards a key alien communication relay. Meanwhile, coordinated attacks launched in far-flung parts of the world, targeting alien outposts and supply depots. As John's team approached the relay, they encountered light resistance. "They're spread thin, just like we thought," John whispered to Derek. "Let's take this opportunity to hit them where it hurts." Using explosives they had rigged earlier, the team blew the relay, cutting off alien communications in the region. The explosion lit up the night sky, a signal to other groups that the Nevada team had succeeded. Back at the command center, reports started coming in from around the world. The European team had taken down a major supply route in France, while the Asian contingent had captured alien tech that could prove invaluable. The South American teams faced the toughest resistance but managed to hold their ground. As the night progressed, it became clear that the coordinated strikes were a resounding success. The aliens were reeling, unable to respond effectively to the global assault. "We did it," Alex said, relief and fatigue mingling in his voice as he looked over the incoming reports. "We did," John agreed, "but this is just the beginning. They'll retaliate and we need to be ready." The next morning, as the team gathered to assess the aftermath and plan their next moves, the sense of unity and purpose was palpable. They had shown that a well-coordinated global resistance could make a significant impact. "We've shown them that Earth isn't going down without a fight," Lisa stated firmly. "Let's keep up the momentum." John looked around at his team, his allies, and the new recruits like Derek, who had tasted their first victory. "This is our planet, our home. We fight not just for survival, but for our future. Let's make sure it's a future worth fighting for." The team cheered, energized by their success and ready for the challenges ahead. As they dispersed to continue their preparations, John took a moment to reflect on the journey so far. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, there was a real sense of hope that they could win this war. With every member focused and determined, the resistance was growing stronger every day. Each victory brought them closer to their ultimate goal, reclaiming Earth from the alien invaders. John knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he also knew they were ready to meet them head-on. The early hours in Las Vegas were unusually silent, a stark contrast to the usual cacophony of bustling streets and neon lights. Now, the city stood as a strategic battleground. General Thrax, infuriated by the recent coordinated strikes, had decided to concentrate his forces for a massive offensive aimed at capturing Las Vegas. He believed controlling this key city would cripple human resistance and break their spirit. In the makeshift command center, John Harris and his team monitored the alien movements closely. "They're amassing a large force just outside the city limits. Looks like they're preparing for a full-scale assault," Sam reported, analyzing satellite imagery. John nodded grimly. "They think taking Vegas will make us fold. We'll show them just how wrong they are. Lisa, what's the status on our defenses?" Captain Lisa Roberts, who had been coordinating the city's defenses, replied, "We've fortified key points throughout the city. Snipers are in place, explosives are set, and our mobile units are ready to intercept. We'll give them a welcome they won't forget." As the alien forces began their advance, the resistance was well prepared to counter the assault. John, alongside Lisa and Derek, positioned themselves at a command post overlooking the central avenue, where they expected the main thrust of the alien attack. "Here they come," Derek muttered as the first wave of alien infantry advanced into the city, their armored vehicles kicking up clouds of dust. The battle erupted in earnest as snipers took their shots, picking off alien scouts. Explosives detonated at strategic points, sending alien vehicles spiraling into chaos. The resistance fighters moved swiftly, utilizing guerrilla tactics to harry the invading forces, striking quickly and then fading back into the urban shadows. John coordinated the movements, constantly on the radio. "Alpha team, move to flank on the left. Bravo, hold your position until they're within range," he instructed, his voice calm but urgent. In the heart of the city, amidst the crumbling facades of once glamorous casinos, the fiercest fighting took place. The aliens, although technologically superior, struggled to adapt to the unpredictable urban terrain and the ferocious determination of the human defenders. "Push them back at Fremont Street," John shouted into the radio as he observed a group of aliens attempting to regroup. As night fell, the battle reached its climax. The resistance had managed to contain the alien advance, but at great cost. Both sides suffered heavy casualties, the streets now a grim testament to the day's brutality. "We've held them off, but they're regrouping for another push. We can't let them gain any ground," Lisa said, reloading her weapon. "This city isn't just buildings and streets, it's a symbol of our resilience." John looked over the makeshift barricades, seeing the weary but resolute faces of his fighters. We make our stand here. For every friend we've lost, for every home they've threatened. Tonight, we fight not just for survival, but for victory. Renewed by John's words, the resistance fighters prepared for the next wave. The aliens launched their renewed assault under the cover of darkness, but the humans countered with unyielded ferocity. Throughout the night, the battle raged. By dawn, the weary alien forces, unable to sustain their offensive and suffering from disrupted supply lines thanks to the Resistance's earlier strikes, began to falter. As the sun rose over the battered city, it became clear that the humans had won the Battle of Las Vegas. The aliens, demoralized and decimated, retreated, leaving behind a city scarred by warfare but still standing strong. Exhausted but victorious, John and his team surveyed the aftermath. Buildings were damaged, and the streets were lined with debris, but the spirit of the defenders of Las Vegas remained unbroken. We did it, John said, putting a hand on Derek's shoulder. You fought well today, all of you. This victory is yours. The Resistance's triumph in Las Vegas would go down in history as a turning point in the war against the alien invaders. It was not just a military victory, but a powerful affirmation of humanity's will to fight, to protect their home against any threat. With renewed confidence and proven strength, John and his team prepared for the next phase of the war. The Battle of Las Vegas had shown that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity could prevail. The fight was far from over, but now they knew it was a fight they could win. After the devastating loss at Las Vegas, General Thrax was under immense pressure to reclaim momentum for the Zalaxian forces. In the war room aboard his flagship, hovering high above the Earth's surface, Thrax and his commanders plotted their retaliation. We must strike back with precision, Thrax commanded, his voice steely with resolve. Deploy the elite units, target their command centers, supply lines, and any gathered resistance forces. We will crush their spirit with a single, decisive blow. Back on Earth, the mood among John Harris and his team was cautiously optimistic following their victory in Las Vegas. However, John was well aware that the battle had only escalated the conflict. They will come at us harder than ever, he warned during a briefing in their now fortified base camp outside the city ruins. We need to be ready for anything, Lisa added, reviewing reports of increased alien activity. Our scouts have noticed unusual movements in the skies. They might be preparing for a series of airstrikes. John nodded, turning to Sam. Can we enhance our radar systems to better track their movements? I'm on it, Sam replied, already working on adjusting the makeshift radar installations with salvaged alien technology. As predicted, it wasn't long before the Zalaxians launched a series of high-intensity strikes. Without warning, several resistance outposts were obliterated from above, leaving no time for evacuation. The attacks were ruthless and precise, signaling a new level of desperation from the alien invaders. John and his team barely managed to escape as their base camp was targeted. Amidst the chaos, Derek shouted, "Incoming! East Quadrant!" The team scrambled as explosions rocked the ground, sending plumes of earth and debris into the air. They took cover in a nearby bunker, feeling the shock waves reverberate through the structure's walls. Once the immediate threat passed, John assessed the situation. Casualties? Minimal, thanks to the early warning, Lisa reported, but her face was grim. But we've lost 3 outposts in the north and east sectors. We can't withstand another hit like that. The retaliation didn't stop at bombardments. Ground forces, comprised of heavily armored alien troops, began advancing on weakened resistance positions. The Zalaxians were using the chaos as cover to land troops and establish forward bases. We need to disrupt their ground operations, slow their advance, John said, formulating a plan. Sam, Derek, you're with me. We're going to sabotage their nearest ground base. Lisa, coordinate with the other teams, keep them mobile and hidden. Under the cover of night, John, Sam, and Derek approached the newly established alien base. Using stealth and the cover provided by the rugged terrain, they infiltrated the perimeter. Sam quickly hacked into the alien communication network, planting a virus that would disrupt their systems temporarily. Done. Their defenses should be down for about 15 minutes, whispered Sam, checking his watch. That's all we need, John replied. They planted explosives at critical structures within the base, moving silently between shadows. As they made their escape, the explosives detonated, lighting up the night sky with fiery blooms. The destruction was significant, but John knew it was a temporary setback for the Zalaxians. Regrouping with Lisa and the rest of the team, John looked over the maps, scattered with new red markers indicating Zalaxian activity. We've slowed them, but this is far from over. They're adapting to our tactics. Lisa looked determined. Then we adapt too. We learn, we evolve. We've beaten them before. We'll do it again. The retaliation had indeed been brutal, but it had not broken the human spirit. Instead, it renewed their determination to defend their home. Each attack was a lesson in survival and strategy, and with each lesson they grew stronger, more resilient. As dawn broke over the ravaged landscape, John and his team prepared for a long campaign ahead. They had faced the worst the Zalaxians could offer and lived to tell the tale. Now it was time to regroup, to plan, and to strike back with renewed vigor. The war for Earth was raging, and humanity was nowhere close to surrendering. In the aftermath of the relentless alien assaults, John Harris and his team regrouped in a new, undisclosed location deep in the Rocky Mountains. It was here, surrounded by rugged terrain and equipped with salvaged alien technology, that they planned their most audacious operation yet. "We've been reactive for too long," John declared during a strategic meeting with his core team. "It's time we take the fight to them, use what we've learned to hit them where it hurts." Lisa nodded in agreement, her face set with determination. "The intel we've gathered from the last few raids has given us a clear picture of their command structure. There's a pattern to their deployments." Sam, who had been working tirelessly on decrypting alien communications, chimed in. "I've managed to isolate a frequency they use for high-level communications. We can not only listen in, but also disrupt their command chain." John leaned over the map strewn across the table. "Here," he pointed to a location marked as a significant alien hub. "This is their main supply depot for the western sector. If we take this out, we cut off supplies to their forward bases and cripple their operational capabilities." The plan was set. Under the cover of night, John led a strike team towards the alien depot. The depot was heavily guarded, but the resistance fighters were no strangers to danger. They moved with precision, cloaked by the darkness of the mountainous terrain. As they approached the depot, Derek, now a seasoned fighter, took charge of setting up explosive charges. "These go off, and their supply line is toast," he muttered, focusing intently on his task. Meanwhile, John and Sam infiltrated the command center within the depot. Using the hacked communications frequency, Sam began the process of sending false orders, creating confusion among the alien ranks. "Orders are out. They think they're under attack from the north," Sam whispered, a grin breaking through his usually stoic demeanor. With the aliens distracted, the explosives planted by Derek detonated, sending shock waves through the depot. Fires erupted, lighting the night sky as supply containers exploded. The destruction was complete. As the resistance fighters retreated to the safety of the mountains, the impact of their attack became evident. The alien response was chaotic, with units scrambling to respond to the non-existent northern attack. Back at the resistance base, John and his team monitored the fallout from their operation. Reports came in from other resistance cells that alien forces were pulling back, their movements disorganized and erratic. "We've done more than disrupt their supplies. We've thrown their entire military structure into disarray," John said, reviewing the latest surveillance data. Lisa, looking over the satellite images of retreating alien forces, felt a surge of hope. "This could be the turning point we've been waiting for. We need to keep the pressure on, keep them guessing." Encouraged by their success, the resistance intensified their operations. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, they harassed alien patrols, freed prisoners from detention centers, and sabotaged other key installations. Each victory added to the momentum, gradually shifting the balance of power. As weeks turned into months, the global resistance began to see real gains. Alien-held territories were reclaimed one by one, and human forces started to retake cities and towns that had been under alien control. The turning of the tide was palpable. John Harris, once a solitary figure in the early days of the invasion, now stood at the forefront of a united global resistance. His leadership and the bravery of his team had inspired countless others to join the cause. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," John proclaimed in a broadcast to resistance cells worldwide. "We're on the path to victory. Stand strong, keep fighting, and believe that we can win this war." The message resonated across the globe, bolstering the spirits of fighters everywhere. Humanity, once on the brink of defeat, was now poised to reclaim their planet. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, victory seemed within reach. The resistance had grown stronger and more coordinated, and now the alien invaders faced a united human front. As the war reached its critical juncture, General Thrax recognized the imminent threat of total defeat. In a desperate bid to regain control and crush the spirit of human resistance, he planned a massive final assault on Earth's major cities, hoping to end the conflict once and for all. John Harris, now recognized as a leader of the global resistance, gathered his commanders in their fortified mountain base to strategize. The mood was tense. They knew the upcoming battle would be the decisive moment of the war. "We've intercepted transmissions," Sam reported. "The aliens are planning a synchronized attack on multiple fronts. They're throwing everything they've got at us." Lisa added, "Our defenses are strong, but we'll need to outsmart them. It's not just about holding our ground anymore. We need to think 2 steps ahead." John nodded gravely. "We'll split our forces. Main defense units will stay and protect the cities. Strike teams will target their command ships. If we take out Thrax, it'll throw their forces into chaos." As the alien forces began their assault, cities around the globe braced for impact. Skyscrapers shuddered under the force of alien artillery, while on the streets, resistance fighters barricaded and fought with relentless courage. John led a specialized strike team himself, targeting the flagship where General Thrax commanded the invasion. They maneuvered through a fierce battlefield in the skies, dodging alien fire from all sides. In the midst of the chaos, John's ship broke through the alien defenses and boarded Thrax's flagship. The corridors echoed with the sounds of battle as John and his team fought their way to the command center. Inside, they confronted General Thrax. "This ends now," John declared, his weapon trained on the alien leader. Thrax sneered, his own weapon ready. "Humanity cannot win. We will never stop." The room erupted into a final brutal confrontation. Shots were exchanged, and in the heated moment, John managed to wound Thrax, disabling him. Seizing the control console, Sam quickly initiated a shutdown sequence for the alien fleet's weapon systems. "Commander, your forces are neutralized," John stated, as Thrax slumped, defeated. "Order them to stand down." With Thrax incapacitated and their main command ship overtaken, the alien forces on Earth fell into disarray. Seeing their leader defeated, many surrendered, while others retreated in a last-ditch effort to escape. Back on Earth, the resistance celebrated as news of the victory spread. Cities were reclaimed, and people emerged from hiding, cheering in the streets alongside the soldiers who had fought for their planet's freedom. In the aftermath, John stood before a large gathering of fighters and civilians alike, his voice carrying across the silent crowd. "Today, we celebrate not just a victory, but the enduring spirit of humanity. Together, we fought against the impossible, and we won. Our planet is ours once more, but let us not forget the cost of this freedom or the lessons we've learned." As Reconstruction began, humanity entered a new era. The alien technology, combined with human ingenuity, promised a future filled with possibilities. But more importantly, the unity and courage shown by people from all corners of the globe had sown the seeds for a lasting peace and cooperation. John, looking out over the horizon, felt a profound sense of responsibility. "We've been given a second chance," he mused to Lisa, who stood beside him. "We'll make the most of it together," she replied, a hopeful smile on her face. The final stand had not only repelled the invasion, but it also brought humanity together, forever changed by the war that had tested their very survival. Now, looking forward to a peaceful future, they were ready to rebuild, learn, and thrive in a world that was, once again, their own.